Welcome to Season 23 of the Business Infrastructure Podcast.
Hi there, I'm Alicia Butler-Pierre, host of the Business Infrastructure Podcast. Before we get started, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so that you'll know when other episodes come.
Now is a good time to start something new. That was the message that read on a fortune cookie I received at the very beginning of the year after enjoying a wonderful meal at a Chinese restaurant. I held on to that message. Why? Well, because it resonated with me. In a way, it was a sign that I was on the right path. A path that, even after owning and operating a business for 19 years, I had never done. Developing a strategic growth plan. What? I know. That's crazy, right? But keep in mind, I'm an operations person, a tactical person, a person who takes pride in getting things done and checking tasks off a checklist. So I can implement a strategy, but I've never actually developed a strategy, at least not for my own company. This is episode 285 of the Business Infrastructure Curing Back Office Blues podcast. Welcome to Season 23 of the Business Infrastructure Podcast, the show where we share operational tips, strategies, and tactics to help you cure any back office blues you might be experiencing. I'm Alicia Butler-Pierre, the host and producer of this show, and this season, we're focusing on growth strategies. You heard me mention that I've never developed a formal growth strategy for Equilibria, the company behind this show. Sure, I've developed business plans, but most of the things we've done, including starting this very podcast back in 2018, was the result of what some would refer to as throwing spaghetti against the wall and figuring out what sticks. In other words, this podcast, along with other ideas, were the result of brainstorming with others and then literally saying, hey, let's give it a try. There was no formal idea validation, market research, or any of the other things that absolutely should be done before investing resources like time and money. That's what makes this season so special. Here at Equilibria, we're going to use ourselves as the test subject for each guest expert that will share the proper way to develop and implement growth strategies. Here's what you can expect. There will be episodes this season where you will learn a new tool and framework for developing and implementing a growth strategy in sequential order. After each new tool and framework is introduced, I'll then share with you how we applied that tool and framework to develop our strategic growth plan here at Equilibria. We'll also follow up those episodes with other guests who will come on and just talk about some of the growth strategies that they've deployed and have actually been successful. We're going to embark on this journey together. That way, you can learn directly from my mistakes as a leader so that you won't repeat those mistakes. There will also be a video version of each episode in case you want to see how I apply each tool and framework. So, what will be the outcome? Well, I'll say this. The conclusion my team and I reach may shock you, but you'll have to stick around until the end of this season to find out that outcome.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Season 23 of the Business Infrastructure Podcast. We are talking about growth strategies. You know how we have all of these ideas about ways that we can not just improve our business, but actually grow, maybe even scale our businesses? It all starts with an idea. But how do you know which ideas are viable versus those that are not? Joining me today is none other than my dear friend, Martina Goss, across the pond in Ireland, to talk to us about a specific tool that she is an absolute expert in using, or I should say leveraging, as a way of helping us not only get our ideas onto paper, but to then really go through a rigorous validation process of those ideas so that we can figure out which ideas we really should pursue as part of a growth strategy. Martina, welcome back to the show. It's so, so good to see you. How are you?
Hi, Elisa. Yeah, thank you so much for having me again. It's so good to be back with you again for this podcast on growth strategies and have this opportunity as well, I suppose, to help your listeners who may be embarking on new ideas and help them get those ideas. So it's
And
great to be back.
well, we are so excited about this, Martina. And as you know, as a fellow business owner yourself, our minds, I think we don't function the way other quote unquote normal people do
Yeah.
because as entrepreneurs, our minds are constantly racing. We always have these ideas. I don't know about you, but I'm constantly writing things down because I'm fearful that I may forget it if I don't write it down. But
Oh,
with that being said, let's start with the lean canvas itself, or maybe even you may think that it's better to start somewhere else, somewhere even before the actual tool itself, but just this idea of these ideas.
yes.
What are your suggestions about, okay, we have these ideas, we come up with these things. Where should we
Yeah.
first record those ideas?
Yeah, Alicia, and this is, I suppose, as entrepreneurs, as creatives, there's so many creatives, innovators out there in the world, and their mind could be racing with all these new ideas popping into their head every couple of minutes. And sometimes that can be actually quite a challenge and a struggle for an entrepreneur. They might find, as I say, they've got all these ideas and they're probably testing one, going down, trying to figure out which one should they actually follow or focus. Focus as I always say, is a gift for an entrepreneur. This ability to get kind of clarity and focus. Where should I put my time, money, and energy on all these ideas that are racing through my mind? And I suppose this is valid not just for new entrepreneurs or the world is booming now with entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs everywhere. But it can also be for business owners, established business owners who may find that they need to create new ideas or new products within their own established business. So the Lean Canvas is a tool that can help you navigate this landscape, this early landscape of testing new business ideas.
Okay, so do you recommend, again, for a person like myself who may have things inside of notebooks, it might be an idea that I've recorded on my phone. It could be on a sticky note of some sort. How do we start to take all, corral all of those ideas, Martina, and put them onto a lean canvas? Or is that how you recommend you start this whole process of using the lean canvas?
Yeah, and I suppose to start with, I suppose at any stage, and I suppose linking this back to your whole podcast uh, series on growth strategies, Alicia, um, we are living in this new age world where there's huge fundamental changes happening within the world, even from a strategic point of view. When we think about advances in technology, we think about AI, we think about all the sustainability issues that are coming to the forefront that are facing new business owners. So first and foremost, we have to take these ideas and how can we align our ideas, and build a strategy around them. So first and foremost, I suppose I can describe what is a lean canvas. So a lean canvas is in its simplistic form, it's a one-page business modeling tool that entrepreneurs or existing business owners can use to help document all their assumptions about their new idea or their new product. So when we think about, I suppose, the traditional way of thinking about ideas or business development It may be to go out to create an elaborate business plan. You could spend days and hours writing business plans, but the lean canvas tries to simplify that into a one-page A4 document, whereby you have to answer key questions, in fact, 12 key questions about your idea. And this gives you an opportunity to start thinking at a more broader scale about your whole business model that will support this potential idea. So the lean canvas, some of those 12 questions will range from questions from who's your customer? What problem do you solve for your customer? Who are you competing against? And also about viability aspects of this business. Like, could you actually create a business, a sustainable business out of this idea?
And as I'm listening to you, Martina, and I'm going to ask this as though I have not worked with you before, knowing that we have worked together. But as I'm listening to you, the thought crossed my mind. It is very easy to be to have bias if you attempted to do this by yourself, which I do not recommend. I highly recommend that someone work with you, because you can poke holes where other people may not poke holes if they're trying to do this for themselves. Can you talk a little bit more about that? What is the process? How do your clients come to you, first of all?
Yeah, so I work with many different types of clients, Alicia. I will work with incubators, so they'd be supporting startups who may have new digital products, physical products. I've worked with researchers, scientists who are trying to bring their ideas to life. I've also worked with professionals who are trying to move into entrepreneurship, and I've worked with established businesses, SMEs, who are trying to reinvent their business model or bring new ideas to life. So using the lean canvas, so as business owners or as an entrepreneur, we might wake up, get very excited, sparked with a new idea. But the problem is that we think that the idea is wonderful. We think that it's brilliant. We rush to build this out, to start building our new idea. But we fail to think sometimes of the fundamental principles of business development, which is we have to build a business around a customer, serving a customer and solving a problem for that customer. So using the lean canvas is a way to help the entrepreneurs think differently about their idea. And as you mentioned, working with somebody like me who's independent, who's coming at this from a completely commercial point of view, it creates that distance, in a respectful manner, a distance between the entrepreneur and the coach, whereby the coach is trying to help guide the entrepreneur into thinking about the whole business model of their idea and the commercial aspects of it, and even technical as well, to try and keep that entrepreneur on the right path, to help them, as I say, give them focus and give them clarity as to which potential path they should go down with their idea. So earlier, working with a lean canvas as well, when you are hit with these ideas, the fundamental principle of the lean canvas is to fill it out in 20 minutes. Take 20 minutes and to sit down and to answer these 12 key questions around your business idea. And I suppose an issue that entrepreneurs may have in filling out this lean canvas is suddenly they say, like, I'm running out of space, because we're trying to condense this to one A4 page. So they might find that they don't have enough room. I don't have enough room here to fill out my lean canvas. But what we're trying to do is to get them to, bring clarity, bring a simplicity as well to their idea, to fill out a lean canvas in 20 minutes. But as well, as I say, some entrepreneurs might struggle filling out a lean canvas because they might actually be trying to incorporate many different ideas onto one canvas, whereby what they actually need to do is create multiple canvases because perhaps they're trying to solve different problems for different customer segments.
And I'm so glad you said that, Martina, because that was going to be my next question, because I was definitely guilty of that. I was trying to cram
Yes.
several things onto one canvas, and you said, no, 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 no. So if I remember correctly, the premise is, or the proper way to use it is really one idea per canvas, right?
Yes. Yeah. And so the first thing is to present the entrepreneur with a lean canvas and just let them, without any guidance, to let them complete a lean canvas. And this is a very valuable exercise because suddenly, as I say, you're probably being asked questions. This canvas is asking you questions you've never thought about before. So it's this process whereby you're having this realization of all the other commercial aspects that are needed to bring an idea to life or to bring a viable, to create a viable business. So at a first pass, the entrepreneur can try to complete this lean canvas, as I say, within 20 minutes. But it's actually then getting in and digging into their idea, working, as I say, as when we work together as well as a coach, you realize that potentially there's multiple canvases, depending on, as I say, customer segment that you're trying to serve or the problem that you're trying to solve. And the key is to start, we can start with multiple canvases, but go through this process of validation or invalidation such that we could bring, one canvas to life so that an entrepreneur could then seek to go out and build a business around either just this one canvas. And you maybe have multiple canvases then in the background that you want to test at a later point as well.
Can we go ahead and actually see what a lean canvas looks like? And would you mind walking us through that, Martina? Let's get to the good stuff.
You see that?
Yes, I remember this version. Yes.
Yes.
I love this.
So yeah, so this is a lean canvas, Alicia, and you can see that it's got there's 9 boxes with 12 questions. And as I mentioned, take 20 minutes to take any of your ideas and to try and fill out a lean canvas for it. And you can start by as well, titling. We have many different ideas, so you could have many different canvases. But at a first pass, you will take the 20 minutes to fill out what you know to date about your idea, trying to answer these questions. And as we always say, early stage ideas is full of uncertainty. There's just so many things we don't know, and there's as well as the saying says, there's so many things that we don't know that we don't know, so there's many things that we need to discover through learning. So the canvas asks the 12 key questions whereby you can start listing out, what customers do you even, in the top right hand corner here, what customer segments do you think that you're going to serve with your idea? Every idea, serves to solve a problem for a particular customer segment. So this is really critical. The lean canvas, at the outset, we can condense it into a leaner canvas. And a leaner canvas is where you're really just focusing on these 4 questions: your customer segments, your early adopters, problem that you're trying to solve for these, customers, and critically, the existing alternatives. So if we take, I suppose, even some of these elements and just talk through them. So first and foremost, I think when we're even thinking about customers or we're thinking about new business ideas, we all have to start with kind of what even type of business we want to create. Like, are we looking to create a new, are we small business, medium business? Are we looking to be the next unicorn? So every entrepreneur will have a different vision for their business. And so when we think about even our customer segments as well, we're just highlighting all those customers that we want to serve with our proposed solution. The Sorry, Alicia.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
This is what
So
editing is for.
okay. You see, I was going to talk about it in a different way. I was going to talk about problem discovery, but I was going to talk about problem discovery. So thinking about, the customers, but then moving into customer problem discovery. Okay, will I try that again just briefly?
Sure.
So, Alicia, this is a lean canvas, and as you can see, it's got 9 boxes, and it asks 12 key questions around your business idea. And these questions will range from your customer segments. So here we're just asking you at a high level, who do you think you want to serve with this proposed business idea? So these are your customer segments. Over here is while we're thinking about your early adopters. So these are a segment of your customer segment who may be, let's say, more attuned to adopting to your new product or your new solution. It's a famous, as well as if we think about the crossing the chasm and the customer adoption cycle. When you bring a new invention or a new product, new innovation to the market, it follows a curve, the customer adoption curve, whereby at the outset, there's always going to be, a smaller segment of the overall customer segment that might be willing to try or adopt your new product or service. So you start with your early adopters, but ultimately you want to move into the mainstream as well, whereby you need to create a business not just with early adopters, but also a business that could move into the mainstream. And this is what we would call crossing the chasm. So you start with early adopters. As I say, these are people that will be more inclined to test or willing to test new innovations or new products. But then at some point, you will have to cross the chasm from early adopters into the mainstream. And that's obviously crossing the chasm comes from Geoffrey Moore. And I'll share that, I suppose, as a resource with you as well, just to look at that crossing the chasm. So in the lean canvas as well, we have to think about the problems that we solve for our customers. But critically, when we create new businesses or come up with new ideas, as they say, like, we fall so much in love with our solution that we fail to think about potentially the problem that we solve for our customer. So there is this, what we would call, it's the innovator's bias. Ash Maurya would call it the innovator's bias. It's where you fall in love with your solution before doing any market or validation work with the market. But critically, to bring any new product or innovation to the market, we need to understand, what are we competing with? So this is what we would call our existing alternatives. So for any new invention or bringing an innovation to market, you are trying to displace the old way that the customer is currently, the old product that the customer is currently using. So you're trying to come in with a new innovation and displace the existing way that customers get that job done. So this is critical for a lot of entrepreneurs who may not, think about having to displace something else to get a customer, to buy their new product. So in the canvas and in the principles, of customer development, what we're really trying to do is get the entrepreneur to think about these 4 boxes: customer segments, early adopters, problem, and the existing alternative. So it's really to understand, what are you competing with? What are the problems with the existing alternatives? So what problems are your, hopefully, potential customers currently having with their existing solutions? And your aim as an entrepreneur is to come in and to build a better way of servicing or delivering value to that customer. So really understanding the problems with the existing way that your customer is using, what for the products or services that your customer is using, understanding the problems with that way, and to create something that is better, creates more value or more efficiency, that really helps your customer get the job done more efficiently, in a more cost-effective way, or a way that might even help your customer increase their revenues. So this is focusing in on, as I say, a leaner canvas, those 4 segments. As we move on.
I'm sorry, Martina, I was going to
Yeah.
just make a statement really quickly. I know you mentioned at some point the importance of one of your clients, an entrepreneur, let's say, for example, attempting to fill this out in 20 minutes on his or her own first. And then I would imagine that person would then come to you, and that's when your process, the coaching part of your work, actually begins. Can you talk a little bit more, because I know we are running out of time here, unfortunately, but I was wondering if you could also spend just a little bit more time talking about how you actually work with your clients. Do you, so they fill this out themselves, and then from that point, do you start to evaluate what they've completed, and how long does your overall coaching engagement typically last?
Yes, so with the lean canvas, what will normally happen, as you say, the customer will give an attempt at filling out this lean canvas. I can help them by just, I suppose, I suppose evaluate a lean canvas for them, to try and help them. I can pose the questions for them that will help them give greater clarity on their lean canvas. But ultimately, the job that needs to be done is that the customer is the only person, Alicia, that can tell you if your idea is good or not is really the customer. Will a customer buy this? So I would work with coach with customers for, on average, it could be a 6-week period. They would attempt to fill out a lean canvas. I can offer them, critique, or I can offer them thoughts on that lean canvas. But critically, the job of validation or invalidation is up to the entrepreneur, because we move then from a lean canvas. We would, spend a couple of weeks business modeling, putting out the different variations of a lean canvas, or their ideas. But then we move into actually going out to talk to customers. This is customer discovery. Try and understand these 4, critical points at the outset. Understanding their customer segment, the characteristics of their early adopters, the problem that they're trying to solve for their customer, and their existing alternatives. So through a process of coaching, it could be, as I say, over 6 weeks, whereby we do the business modeling. We understand, go out, do problem discovery calls with their customer to bring them to take all the learnings that they learned from that to help the entrepreneur then design a potential solution, to, a solution to solve the problem for the customer. Also, it is critical to do the problem discovery calls with the customer, because this is where you really understand how you can differentiate yourself from the competition, from the existing alternatives, what makes you better. And this is where you will start to learn, and create your unique value proposition, so that you can, as I say, bring an innovation to market that is better than the way it is done currently. But critically, you also need to make a viable business out of this. And this is where your revenue streams and your cost structures will come into play. Thinking about, will your customer pay for this? Can you create a profitable business? How will you reach your customers? The channels box, each channels have different costs as well, depending on the channels that you're using. Your unfair advantage, so that if you do create an innovation that is better than the existing way of doing it, how are you going to defend your position? Your key metrics are really important. These can be metrics that you set for yourself. It can be your ambition, but it can also be every different idea, every different business model has key metrics that drives it. And this is really critical to understand, as well, from a viability point of view for an entrepreneur to understand. But over the course of 6 weeks, the entrepreneur, they'll fill out their canvas. I will coach them, to assist them, even segment their lean canvas into further canvases. They will do problem discovery calls with customers. We will come back, we will discuss the problem discovery calls and really try to hone in on problem that they're solving for their customer, and to then assist the entrepreneur in designing that first early stage, either MVP, which is a minimum viable product, or even before that, assisting the entrepreneur demo their product to potential customers. As I say, that process could take anything from a 6 weeks period, or an 8-week period.
That's really powerful, Martina. And hopefully everyone who is either watching you and or listening to you right now understands why you don't want to just move full steam ahead with, ideas that come into your head, because you could potentially lose, you stand to potentially lose quite a bit of money if you don't go through this type of rigor first. I'll just share one really quick example that I know of someone who, I know you helped me really vet and validate an idea for an online course. I'm thinking of another friend that I have who many years ago also created some courses. These were courses that could be delivered either in person or online, on demand. And he booked out this really nice studio. It was high quality production. I mean, something that you would expect to see on television. That's how great the production quality was. He went through all of this. He had this beautiful launch party. I remember being invited to the launch party. And he told me he spent almost $1 million investing in this because he was so convinced that this was something that his target market needed. Unfortunately, not enough of that target market actually purchased his course. So that was a significant loss. And I can't help but wonder if he had worked with you and gone through the rigor of this kind of an exercise, because the lean canvas itself is just a tool, but it's to me the real power in what you do, Martina, is the process that you take your clients through. You providing that objective, neutral, I don't have a dog in the fight kind of viewpoint to really get us thinking. I think that would have helped save him all of that money, and maybe he could have gone about it a different way if he had someone like you to really challenge him. So I just wanted to share that really quickly because I'm sure there might be someone again watching and or listening who's thinking, oh, that's a lot of work. But I'll tell you what, it's better to put up to make the investment of your time up front than to lose actual money on the back end, all because you did not do the work required to really validate an idea before investing, resources into making that idea into a solution that you then present to the marketplace, and nobody wants it. So I
Yes.
just wanted to
And
share that really quickly.
yeah, and that actually breaks my heart to hear that, Alicia. And this is why actually I want to do what I do, is to help people, unfortunately, as the customer you described there, and to save them time, money, and energy. I have seen people pump their retirement, into ideas, pump their redundancy money into ideas, or to pump it all in, should I say, into ideas before doing the necessary testing of that business idea. And that breaks my heart. So it's really important for entrepreneurs to test their ideas, to understand, is this a desirable? Does the customer, does the market want it? Is it viable? Can I create a financially viable business from it? Is it feasible? Can I actually do this? And critically, as you mentioned, there, can this idea move from beyond early adopters into the wider marketplace? And that's critical. So as I always say, every entrepreneur, they have an opportunity cost of their time, money, and energy. So you may wake up with 15 ideas, but doing one idea means you're not doing another. So this is why it's critical to test nearly all 15, put all 15 out on the table and say, which one am I going to put my bets, put a bet on? Have to make small bets, on the 15, test them with the market. Which one should you fully, go down and commit your time, money, and resources building? Which one has the best chance of success? And you really can only do that by doing this necessary testing with the market up.
Well, this has been absolutely fantastic. I want to make sure that we covered all 9 boxes. I think you did, you were able to speak about all of them, right?
Yeah, I didn't go into much detail in the revenue. I didn't do high level concept. That's just, it's just an analogy. What does your high level concept is just a way to do a quick way to describe your idea, such that whoever you're talking to might, as I say, on the YouTube or videos. So it's just an analogy that, helps people understand your idea, understanding your revenue streams, how you're going to make money from this. Every idea has to be viable. If you have no sales, you don't have a business. And understanding critically your cost structure. So understanding the costs involved to try and bring this idea to life, or when you're fully established, really understanding your fixed and variable cost structure of your business. These two join your revenue and your cost structure. In the middle is your profitability. The difference between these two, but understanding the financial viability of it, and then understanding as well how you're going to fund this idea, which is another question not on this canvas, but another critical component of any new business idea.
Well, Martina, this is absolutely fantastic. This is golden information, everyone. So please heed every word that Martina has shared with us here in this video, as well as on this podcast episode. Martina, how can people get in touch with you? What's the best way?
So the best way is that you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on LinkedIn. From there, we can, is to follow me on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. And do you have any resources? So I'm sure there are people who are wondering, how can I get my hands on this? Have you written any articles or anything that we can maybe reference as we attempt to fill this out on our own before contacting you to help us validate our ideas?
Yeah, so I can share a lean canvas with you that you can share with your audience. And as I say, your audience, just try it. If you have that new idea, just give it a go. We're not looking for perfection. I'll share a blank lean canvas, try to fill it out, and I'll also share some articles that I wrote for incubators as well, for early stage startups embarking on a journey, and how to think about building something that your customers actually want.
That would be very helpful. And one more thing, I remember you mentioning a book, I believe it was called Crossing the Chasm, or
Yeah,
by
Jeffrey
Jeffrey.
Moore's.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's crossing the chasm. So as I mentioned, Alicia, we start with early adopters. So we can see the early adopter box on the lean canvas, but to move into the wider market, that's where we have to cross this chasm into the wider stream. So I can share a link as well with that book for you in your resources.
Thank you, Martina, so much. That would be really helpful. We got through it. We got through the interview. Thank you so much for your patience with me. And it didn't even require any crack. I mean, that's amazing.
It is. It's a great interview for April Fool's Day. And actually, when we think about it, I think of my cousin who always used to say to me when his business, he'd look at me and he'd say, "Am I just a busy fool?" He'd say, but this is lean canvas, and this whole idea validation process, hopefully that none of the future generations will be, or entrepreneurs will be, busy fools.
Yes, thank you. And on that note, we will end our recording. Don't be fools. Stay away from crack, the bad crack. You can have the good crack, but not the bad crack. And and download that lean canvas. Make sure you go to businessinfrastructure.tv, where we will have links to all of the amazing resources that Martina has mentioned. You will be able to also download a copy of a lean canvas so that you can start playing around with it, testing it for yourself. Make sure you connect with Martina on LinkedIn. We will definitely have a link to her profile there as well. Martina, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alicia. And I hope that this will be of benefit to your audience as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any information that's coming up. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.